I saw that you did an interview with Mike Tyson, and you revealed for the first time, you never revealed this before, that you were sexually assaulted.
Yeah, I was sexually victimized.
Were you a teenager at the time?
Yes, sir.
Were you threatened?
When?
Did he, if you tell anybody that this has happened, or if you tell anybody that this happened, something might happen to you or someone?
He did.
He did?
Yeah, he out of here.
I guess I'll leave that alone.
I mean, that's the truth. I mean, I don't know how he, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, you don't know how?
He out of here.
Like I said, we'll move that along.
Yeah, he'll never do that to anybody again. But I think my snapping point was, damn, I hate to say who it was, but he pulled me to the side. He a monster too. He pulled me to the side. He was like, hey, are we gay? I said, I don't know. I don't know. And I remember that was the last time I kind of had a little bit of like, before it went black. I don't respect those that pick on the weak. I hate what happened, but at the end of the day, it's beautiful because my pain turned into my purpose, and I'm healing the world through that. And like I say, that person, he stretched. So,
damn, Kev, you said like you proud of that.
I am. The fuck?
Kev.
You touch a kid, you're supposed to die. Straight up. You rape a woman, you're supposed to die. Straight up.
Kev, but that's not your purpose. That's not your...
Who?
I thought we were going to let him handle that.
Who? Boy, God ain't put me here to be... God give me the strength to make sure this nigga... Man, I'm going to stand over and give him everything I got. God, please let him be stretched. Because sometimes you give him everything you got, and they, you know, God don't take his hand off him. But if God take his hand off him, that feet going up in that air.
You get relief from that? You feel you...
What? If somebody molests my daughter, you gonna die. Or I'm gonna die trying. But I'm very resourceful.
You're resourceful.
Unfortunately. But if you touch one of my children, you're gonna die.
I saw that you did an interview with Mike Tyson, and you revealed for the first time, you never revealed this before, that you...
Initial thoughts on the video, Sydney. How you feeling after hearing that?
I resonate with some of what he said. Granted, I don't take as strong of a feeling towards it. Like, I don't think necessarily that you should have to die if you do that. However, that's not saying I'm condoning that behavior whatsoever. I do know that, especially for underaged individuals that commit these acts, I'm pretty sure, just from what he said, that was probably an adult that did that. But I know for younger people that commit that, usually they're doing this because they experience some form of abuse themselves. Very often perpetrators become perpetrators because they were formerly victims themselves. That was the case that I experienced when I was in school. I was assaulted by a classmate who had been assaulted by another classmate who had been assaulted by his dad. And that kid assaulted by his dad ended up doing that to at least 3 other students that I know of in that classroom. And so that's a very, at least in my life, a very poignant example. I don't know if that's the right word, but a very obvious example of the generational curse, if you want to call it that, even though it wasn't necessarily generational, but it just shows you the path of trauma and how it really passes on to other people, almost in the same way that a normal illness does. So I don't necessarily think that as strongly as he did, but I do definitely understand that feeling, because when you are exposed to violence in that form, it does a lot to you. I was very lucky in that it didn't extend beyond like tactile behavior. I was fortunate to not have been exposed to anything more severe than that. But some people are very, very unfortunate to have to experience the very severe forms of that type of trauma. Yes, I see the pasta. So I can understand that, because I just the little bit that I experienced did immense damage to my mental health. It took me over 10 years to be able to come to terms with what happened to me and start healing myself. And it still, even though I'm mostly healed from it, it still does have repercussions. I can't even imagine, just from knowing documentaries and my own research, like I know the extent of what some people can feel after more severe situations, but I can't imagine having to experience that myself. So I can understand that sentiment of wanting nothing but malice and vengeance for that person. But yeah, I also, I don't remember if he actually said this in the video or if it was, I was reading up on it. He said that he has taught his own children to like come to him and be open with him. And I think that's, we could probably talk about this more later, but I think that's an important thing to pass down to your children if you do experience something like this, is because I think that's really what causes the most amount of trauma for people, is if they do not have an outlet to reach out about what they just experienced and have someone to talk to about the abuse that they had to be exposed to.
Coach, what's the word?
1 in 6 men experience sexual abuse in their lifetime.
I'm torn between, was this a safe space for him to have that conversation? You know, I don't know what it is about Shannon Sharp's platform where people just go up there and they pour their heart and soul out there on that platform. I don't know if it's because it's him specifically, but I appreciate the honesty. I appreciate the transparency. I don't know how much of it was just him wanting to share that with the people, but I'm glad he brought it up. You say 1 in 6. That is a big number. It might not seem like that to a lot of people. That is a huge number. And I can say I'm 1 of 6. I can say I'm 1 of 6. So I already know how that feels. It's not what people think it is. Everybody handles it differently. And I think that's why I wanted to talk about it specifically, not just simply because of him and what he said about, you know, responding to it, but because we do have this problem. There are men out here who has been destroyed mentally by this, and some people have never recovered or come out of it. So,
Sid, mute your mic.
I just wanted to add on to that, just for people to think about, and that's reported. 1 in 6 men report having that happen. So that doesn't factor in the people that never tell anybody about something that they experienced, or people who have those experiences but don't understand what they've experienced is abuse. So the number could technically be higher.
first question. Why aren't these conversations being discussed enough? I'm speaking about men specifically, boys specifically. We already know women go through this, and I'm not condoning it. It's not acceptable. But why don't we talk about this in the manosphere, generally speaking? Why isn't this in circulation?
I mean, we've already stated the obvious, toxic masculinity. People don't discuss it, cultural norms. I think we're at the end of that point where people aren't talking about it. I think we're in a point right now where it's not necessarily about vulnerability, but I think it's people are just in the era of exposing people. So that might be the way some people are going about healing, and hurt people. So the conversation is starting to come up. It's just not controlled in a controlled environment. You asked if Shannon Sharp was a safe space. I would say no. He specifically say that he opens up. He's not an interviewer. He's just having a conversation. And he specifically said that after Cat Williams' show, that he just allows people to come up there and have a conversation and just be candid. So there's no fact checking. There's no anything. So I wouldn't necessarily say it was a safe space, but it was a space to have a conversation. And there's a difference, so we got to make sure that we understand that. And then just talking about current norms and discouraging expressions of pain and trauma, and then just, trauma, weakness, men, ego, all those things can't necessarily coexist at the same time. So it just depends on who you're talking to and their maturity level.
Yeah, historically, it's been very looked down upon for men to be emotionally expressive, to express trauma, to show any form of weakness in public, because men have over generations have been expected to show strong behavior, and to not show feminine behavior, and like crying and showing emotions and being open about really horrible things is considered to be more feminine. It's considered to be like you're complaining, you're whining, you're expressing things that don't need to be out in the open. Like, keep that to yourself. Just be strong. Just hide the things that you're struggling with. I think there's also an element of even the people that wanted to talk about it and had not been conditioned to think that way, they still might not have, because of the way society will treat you, look at you for talking in that way, talking about those things. There's a fear of like being harassed or made fun of, being seen differently, seen poorly because of your decision to discuss stuff like that. And I think a subset of the population too feels like admitting they've been abused would emasculate them, because they're in this like hypersexual society. It's seen as like, well, especially if it was another woman. This is coming from a documentary that I've seen on this. If it's another woman that, or if it's a woman that had done that to them, they can sometimes be shamed. Like, well, why didn't you enjoy it? Like, why didn't you participate? Like, you should have been happy that you got that experience. And like, you should have been proud to be involved with an older woman or whatever. And so they're almost, in some frames of mind, they're almost conditioned to be okay with it just because it was seen as a sexual encounter. So I think there's a lot of reasons why it's not discussed in wider circles. But I think a lot of it has to do with how society has traditionally viewed masculinity. That's why women have had an easier time getting sympathy and getting support in public spheres than men have, because of the way that we've traditionally seen men and how they're supposed to act.
Chingy got accused of sleeping with a transgender woman. His career went down the toilet. It wasn't even true. But people saw the allegations, the picture, even the guy cosplaying as a woman admitted that they lied, but perception mattered more to the general public. And it was like, well, you like men, so that makes you gay by default. So we can't be associated with you. Career over. But you fast forward to 2026, they shoving it down your throat. They forcing you to like it. It's more acceptable. And I brought that up to say, Coach, I got a question. Now I guess either or can answer this.